What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Farmer on the Prairie. If you like my channel, please hit that subscribe button and then tap the notification bell. Today we're going to be emptying the bedding pack out of our three-sided shed, our cattle barn. It is getting too tall now that it's hard to drive in with the skid steer and bales. We've got to clean the bedding pack out, and Dad's going to be hauling a few loads of manure before the ground thaws out. He should be able to haul, 5 or 6 loads of manure. Luke is here. He's running his skid steer. And then Dad, of course, is out with the Kubota and the manure spreader going to town. The barn we have is very short. It's only about 6 feet between the bedding pack and the front of the building. And then coming in here, it's not very tall. It's hard to get equipment in and out with bales. And then you can see just how deep the bedding pack is. That's about 3 foot deep or so. Luke is going to be taking his skid steer in here and be just coming in, scooping it up, dragging it back, and then he's going to be dumping it all in the lot. I don't think Dad can get this all hauled, but we've just got to get it so we can keep bedding the cattle up in here so they stay nice and comfortable. Since it's froze this morning, the cattle are out on the pasture to make it easier to do this job. You can see they're just all hanging out there. Well, even though it's supposed to be froze, you can definitely tell it's not. Check out the pasture here. There was just a little bit of snow, and that little bit of snow is too much insulation. You look right here, look at how pugged up that is. The cattle hooves have just been going in and tearing it up. Hopefully it won't be too terrible long before he can put them back in, because they're really pugging it up. But Dad fed him a bale of hay out here, and they're all into that. The little blue tags are steers. That is a castrated bull calf that is raised for meat. And then the yellow tags are either heifers, which are females that have not calved yet, or cows that has calved. Here's some of our cows. That one right there is black. She is actually a red Angus, just a black-hided red Angus. We got the 2 donkeys here. These are donkeys for my sister's personal enjoyment. Everybody's happy out here this morning, right, Benji? Was that hay good? Oh yeah? Luke got us loaded up, and now we're riding out to the field in the tractor here. And Dad has actually not been sinking through. The cattle are doing more damage to the field than Dad has been spreading. The Kubota's got decent sized tires, and the spreader is not super heavy, so far he hasn't had issues. And yeah, I know you guys have all been saying about the manure spreader and we should get a vertical beater. That is on the wish list, but farmers can't just go out and buy something every time that it strikes their fancy, because at the end of the year you got to go into the bank and hopefully show them that you didn't lose money. So right now we're stuck with this spreader. Hopefully someday we can get a nice vertical beater, but for now this is what we've got and it works. So this field we're spreading in is closer to home, and Dad is just spreading crossways with the row. One of our least favorite things about the spreader is the fact that it slobbers over the side and throws manure into the field. The spreader works fine in very light, more liquid manures, but as you guys have seen, our manure is not light and it's not liquid. Dad is basically spreading in a giant C. He's starting out at one corner of the field, making a big curve into the field, and then driving back over to the lanes while still spreading. Part of the reason we no-till is for erosion and snow retention. You can just see that most of the snow that happened, there was some drifting that happened, but we've still got a good 2 inches of snow there. Whereas in comparison to our neighbor's field, it blew bare. And it's the same thing with water. When it rains and we get rain, our neighbors' fields will be just eroding. There will be giant washouts forming and a lot of water coming off the fields. and our fields will soak in a couple inches before they start to run off. The smell of ripped open bedding pack is pretty ripe. You might be wondering why he is pulling manure out of the shed, putting it on a lot, and then into the manure spreader. In here, the bedding pack is really tight, so he rips it out, loosens it up some, he dumps it in a pile, and when he dumps it, it comes apart. So that way he can get giant bucketfuls and put it in the spreader, and our spreader needs all the help it can get to be able to spread it out properly. And he can also load the spreader much, much faster when he's got loose manure outside. So that is why he doesn't just back out of the shed and fill the manure spreader. We know we're not gonna go spread this whole barn full today, so he wants to get as much out of here as he can. But yeah, ripped open bedding pack smells pretty ripe. Yeah. The reason bedding pack is so nice is because of all the heat it generates while it's decomposing. As you can just see here, all the steam rolling off of the manure that's been ripped open. So basically the cows are laying on a heated bed after we get some bedding pack action going on. And if y'all can count how many times I say bedding pack in this video, see if you can comment down below and tell me how many times I said bedding pack in this video. Luke always gives me grief for getting manure on the windshield. Well, it looks like he just did the same thing, so I shouldn't feel too bad. When you've got your bucket so close to the windshield, it's inevitable that you're gonna get manure all over the skid steer. And some of you have commented about the size of the bucket on the New Holland. Actually, the floor of the New Holland bucket is fairly long and you can hold a lot of manure on it. It's just got a low back because it's a skid steer bucket and it'll be very hard to get out of the cab. You cannot see the cutting edge if you've got a taller back bucket. We've got a low back bucket on that thing, but it still can hold quite a bit of manure. this lot here all scraped up, and there's a lot more room in here now. Alright guys, so Luke has already started work on piling up the manure because we know we're not going to be able to get it all spread, so he's pulling it out of the barn and making this pile really big here to get as small of space filled with manure as possible, because we don't want to take up the whole cattle lot with manure. We normally do not have our cows on the lot much in the wintertime, but this winter's been an exception because it's been so warm and so wet. When it's cold and frozen, we can have the cows out just fine. This winter has not been like that. So this is already manure pile number 2 and shed full number 2. We already hauled everything out once. We've got manure from back here all the way out there and then over to here, and it's about at least 6 foot deep, and that's been packed by the animals standing on it, so you can just tell how much manure we've got around here. There's the cows hanging out there. There's so much condensation from the heat that the inside of the ceiling is actually dripping water like rain. So actually, bedding pack, when it is sealed over and has bedding on top of it, does not smell at all, but when you rip it open, all the decomposing heat and biology going on in there is just strong. Check out the good old manure pile. As you guys know, a skid steer doesn't go that high. Luke actually made a ramp that he drove a skid steer up, so he double stacked the pile. So that's a 6 foot wall behind that in the roof of the farm store. That's how tall it is. Cows are back on the lot now, eating away at the hay. Tomorrow morning when it's froze, we've got to finish by hauling that pile out there. And then we can bring the hay feeder back on. Go in here to the barn, and we've got a couple bales of straw down to start the new bedding pack. And then we've got corn shucks for them to eat in here. As you can tell, everybody's happy and everybody's comfortable, which is what we like to see. I'm gonna go in here real quick and shut the gate, keep them all off the pasture because it's getting muddy. Come on, girl, come on. All right, come on, big girl. Let's move, let's move. Okay, we'll swing this gate shut here. Hey, donkeys. Oh boy, got some carnage. I think Luke pushed out the wall a bit there. This building's lifespan is very limited. We can only get a couple more years out of it. So on the wish list is another hoop building. That is all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time.